Hey, everybody. We are here for another episode of the Aviation Growth Podcast. I'm Greg Hine, and joining me today, I have Cat Wren. How are you, Cat?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I think the last time we
Good.
spoke, I was telling you that we're in a house hunt, my husband and I,
Yeah.
for me to get a little closer to Love Field. Well, good news. Monday, we officially are new homeowners.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a whirlwind, and we're working on getting everything closed and had the inspection yesterday. So we are excited.
Cool. Awesome. Congrats on that. And thank you for taking the time to chat with me with all that going on. I know how it is closing on a new house and getting all the documents and getting all that stuff together. It can be a little crazy.
Absolutely, especially a week before NBAA.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a lot going on, and we were just chatting. You have a nice view behind you, and a few real nice aircraft out that window there. But tell us where you're at and who you are, what you do, and we'll take it from there.
Perfect. Yep. I am Cat Wren, the Chief Experience Officer here at Business Jet. We're located in the heart of Dallas at Dallas Love Field. We're full service FBO, and we also have aircraft charter and management, and we also have a full 145 repair station. So we love to consider ourselves the one-stop shop here at Dallas Love.
Cool. Yeah, I've been there a few times. I've worked with some of the folks over at Business Jet Access in the past, and I was talking to Lee Brewster, who we both know, and she had said, "Hey, you need to get connected with Kat and chat." So here we are. But we talked a few weeks back and got to learn a little bit about your past, which I think is really cool, and learned a little bit more about what you're doing in this chief experience officer role, which is cool. We'll get to that. I think that's a really cool title for inside of aviation. I think you might be pretty unique with that role, but we'll get into that. So let's kind of take it from the top. I think you have a cool story about how you got into the aviation industry, and so maybe we could start there.
Absolutely. Very interesting story indeed. I'm not your typical aviation loving kid who drove to the airport with their pilot mom or dad to watch airplanes take off and land. In fact, my dad was in law enforcement and my mom has been an accountant majority of her life, so nowhere near
Yeah.
aviation. But it really started about 2 months before I was going to graduate college.
Okay.
Every college kid, you have to think about what am I doing with my life? Where am I headed?
Yeah.
A girlfriend of mine at the time who I played college basketball with worked for FC Dallas here in North Texas. And I called her, asked her if I could come stay with her for about a week. She said, absolutely. So I had some interviews lined up. She helped me get a few interviews within the sports realm. And so I came and stayed for a week. About Wednesday, so mid through the week, we went to lunch with one of her coworkers. I'm kind of telling my story, my hopes and dreams of what I want to do. And her coworker said, let me make a call. Calls the brand manager that was working here at Business Jet at the time and said, hey, Erica has a friend that wants to move to Dallas. And they said, great, bring her in. I didn't have a smartphone. All I had was an atlas. So they gave me a GPS and their phone number and address and said, all right, go find him. And I said, okay, well, what does this company do? Well, they didn't even know. Something with airplanes. So I'm like, okay, envisioning, maybe flight attendant or something to that avenue. And I pull up to the FBO, this long driveway. I walk through the double doors and I'm looking around. I see this beautiful chandelier, all these private jets outside. And I literally think I'm on a movie set. So I get into the interview, which was one of the best interviews that I've ever experienced, as I was more comfortable with her and her story. And it felt just so relaxed. So here I am, small town kid, giving her my hopes and dreams of wanting to work in sports. I was a sports communications degree and with an emphasis in broadcast, and I really, thought that's where I needed to be. So she said, "Okay, that's great. Let me give you the lay of the land here at the FBO." So she did. Very interesting. I was very intrigued. So I will never forget when I was walking out of the interview, she said, "I just want you to know, once you get into this industry, it's addicting." And I literally, like, in my mind, rolled my eyes and thought, okay, sure.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Exactly. And about a week later, I got an offer. So I graduated college on a Saturday, moved on a Wednesday, started work on a Monday, and I always like to say, stuck ever since, because it's been such a crazy journey. But I really did fall in love with it, and here I am. May of this year was 10 years.
Cool. And so one of the really cool things I saw about as we talked and you talked about your kind of career path up until this point is that you really started your career on the line, out working tugs and out on the tarmac and bringing aircraft in and out of the hangar and stuff like that. And so kind of take me through like, okay, you start at this point now, you're in an executive role. What's that journey been like for you?
Sure. The company has truly supported all of my curiosity, all of my questions, my want to grow. And I think that they saw where I could potentially be. So, learning the ins and outs of being on a tug. And the only things I didn't do out on the line were dump the lab or fuel, which
Okay.
maybe one of these days I will, just to say that I did. But they were with me through that journey. I was lucky enough to hold quite a few different roles within the company, from starting out on the line to being behind that customer service desk, answering phones, service orders, booking hotels. And then I moved to both trainer roles for being outside on the flight line with a lot of our flight line attendants, and then also training the girls behind the desk. From there, there were some openings in as a marketing assistant or associate. So I hopped into that role and worked primarily on supporting our brand manager at the time with newsletters, a lot of the trade shows, coming up with fun themes, so on and so forth. And it's really just grown more and more from that to the role that I'm in today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always, I've been a big fan of people who are able to kind of bounce around in their path, whether they're at the same company or moving between companies, but having that experience in different areas of the company, I think just makes you really well rounded in understanding the business.
Mhm.
I had a kind of a similar experience. I started in customer service, moved into operations, then into sales and marketing. Then I got familiar with product, and so just being able to really be on the ground and understanding what does that job look like, what does the interaction with customers look like, from all these different perspectives. I think it allows you to really create a great experience as you're moving through the organization and into these different roles. And so now today you have this chief experience officer role. And so tell us what that is all about, and how you're making an impact for like your customers and your employees in this role.
Sure. So it was very new to me. I had never heard of it when it was presented to me.
Yeah.
I think it was October of 2019 when I was promoted. And my owner of the company actually printed out an article exactly explaining, what is a CXO.
Yeah.
And the more research that I did, I primarily saw it big in the healthcare industry, which we know that's an industry that you have to have a hand in, not only your nurses, your doctors, but the patients, because they're in different circumstances that they may or may not have a choice to fix, and you're there to help them.
Right.
So I did learn a lot from a lot of research that I've done, but the CXO, in a nutshell, is pretty much responsible for the overall experience and the interactions with customers. I also oversee our entire marketing department. So anything that hits our brand, the socials, the print ads, the online ads,
Sure.
as well as a lot of our transient sales. Sometimes I'm the one that's cold calling, the falcon that went down the street to figure out why they didn't come to us, and how we can help better serve them when they're in Dallas. So that's a lot of fun. But really, for me, it's much more than a title. It's much more than the actual customer. I guess you could say I'm the people person, but it's funny. A lot of people have called me in the past the chief empathy officer,
Okay.
the people officer.
Yeah.
And it's really my duty to help teach and mentor our employees to lead, act, and react in the best interest of our customer. Because without a happy employee, you won't have happy customers.
Sure. And I think that's awesome. I think it's a great point of view to come from in taking care of your employees. They're going to take care of your customers. And I know that we had talked a little bit about kind of the start of this business, which I thought was a pretty cool story. Can you talk a little bit about the original owner of the business and how Business Jet got started?
Sure. Um, and I really think he's the one that cultivated my passion
Yeah.
even more. Yes, so Mr. Wright was actually in medical hospitality, and he was the visionary that designed and created Medical City Dallas. So it was more of the Medical City Mall of the world. And he actually would travel quite a bit with him and his business partner across the US in their Falcon 50 to these different airports. And he really saw the need for higher customer service and expectations. And after traveling quite a bit and seeing these interactions, he came back to Dallas and said, I'm going to start my own FBO. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And we truly believe that he revolutionized the Dallas FBO market, and made us who we are today. Um, so he definitely is one that started it, and you can feel it from the beginning till where we are now.
Very cool. Yeah, I love hearing about kind of how these businesses got started and just the progression of how far they've come and all the people along the way. So that's really cool. And as I look at uh, being in Dallas, it's obviously a very it's a hot market for business aviation. It's a place that I traveled to several times a year. We had a lot of customers there in the past. There's a lot of options for customers when they're flying into the Dallas area. There's a few different airports. There's a few different FBOs. Talk to me about Business Jet and how you guys have. What's the difference? What are you offering that makes you guys one of the preferred places to come and land and come through in Dallas?
I love that question because you said, what are you offering? And
Sure.
honestly, we're not offering anything different than the FBO down the street. It comes down to our people, the boots on the ground, the guys that are servicing and the gals that are servicing these aircraft. But beyond that, they're building relationships. It's been fun to see from my beginning 10 years ago where we've come. So back to a few of the projects that I've been able to work on, which I think have enhanced our customer service the last couple of years. We've always had this secret sauce that I just want to bottle up and sell because it's so good. And we know this from our customers and we know it from our employees. But every time somebody comes into the FBO, they just say, it feels different here.
Mm-hmm.
Something is going on here that's much different. So I was able to help spearhead the creation of our mission, our vision, and the core values in which our people are already living by day, not even just at Business Jet, but at home. But we were finally
Sure.
able to name that. And I've also been able to help revamp our employee reviews and also reevaluate those wages that come with it to ensure that we are as competitive as can be, to help enable our employees to be happy because again, if they're happy, our customers will be happy. We continue to throw customer appreciation luncheons. We have swag bags. And then we've also, for the employee appreciation part, for example, the last 4 months, we have been killing it. Not only has the industry been up, but our
Yeah.
fuel sales have been, doubling. I think we're about 88% up in fuel
Wow.
sales of what we were this last year. Well, my brand manager and I were brainstorming on, what can we do for our employees, because we are a little shorthanded right now. We're trying to get some new hands in the door, I think,
Yep.
as the entire world is.
Yeah.
But we wanted to figure out a way to treat them other than just another lunch.
Hmm.
So, in the month of October and end of September here in Dallas, there is the state fair. And we also have Six Flags up the road down in Fort Worth. And we decided to go ahead and offer all of our employees and their immediate families tickets to either the state fair or Six Flags, their choice, for them on their day off to take their family and enjoy.
Cool.
And yeah, the feedback that we got was amazing, and they are so appreciative. And I think that's another part of what keeps them here and keeps them grinding as hard as they
Sure.
do.
That's awesome. And I know, in talking to a lot of people from throughout the industry, right now there's a difficulty in both retention and recruiting,
Mhm.
right? And demand is up in charter right now. There's a lot going on, and it's pretty tough to find people to fill these roles. How are you guys approaching that? How are you looking to get new people in the door? And is training something that you've been a part of in this role?
It has been, yes. So trying to get new hands in the door is the hardest part, because we don't want just hands. We want the right fit for the company, and for the culture. Our best bet is word of mouth and employee referrals or customer referrals.
Sure.
We've had a handful of great people that have, they're funny enough. There was a pilot that was in not long ago who went to a place called Flower Child up the road, met this bartender there, fell in love with her, and said, "Hey, you need to contact Business Jet." So she did. We brought her in, and now she is one of our brand ambassadors that was recently promoted, for her service and her servant's heart. So it's that kind of, or those kind of steps that we try to take to get the right hands in the door. And experience isn't everything. Sometimes I would almost bring in somebody that has no experience, so you can help mold and cultivate the culture that you have here into them,
Sure.
so they can, do their thing.
Yeah. No, it's always, a lot of the skills and everything that you need to actually work in these businesses, in this business. These are all things that are typically teachable,
Mhm.
and, it just takes some time to learn them. But, it's finding the people that come in with the right attitude and point of view and could be part of the team and fit into that company culture,
Mhm.
which is really the most critical piece, I believe, in hiring new talent. Um, so, well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear things are going well, and sales up 88% on fuel. Yeah, that's tough to beat. How do you guys see the future going with your business? I know that you had mentioned that there's some expansion going on. What does that look like for you?
We are so excited, and we're really blessed to be in the position that we are, as most airports are very landlocked.
Hmm.
But in 2018, there was an RFP that went out, for some land here at Love Field, and there were two different bids. We bid for both, just hoping and praying that we'd get one.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, got both. So we went from about 33 acres to about 53 within that time frame. And our ownership has a master plan of growth for the next 10 to 15 years. Our newest hangar was built in July of 2019, or it was completed in July of 2019, and it's completely full. We have steel on the ground right now to basically copy and paste that 40,000 square foot hangar, which is our biggest,
Cool.
to get that going. So we're working through that. Should be done, next year sometime. And believe it or not, that's already full. And then from there, we have another handful of probably 6 to 7 hangars that we have master planned, which is perfect for the fact that not only are people moving to the North Texas area, but flight departments are moving this way. And we're
Sure.
just here to help sustain that growth and open the gates, have them come on
Yeah.
in.
No, that's awesome. And I know that it's really cool to see that expansion. At most airports there's no room left,
Mhm.
right? And especially for development on the private side of aviation. And so that's really cool. I'm excited to hear, how big of a space that you guys got, and how the business is gonna going to be able to grow with this new development. So really, really cool stuff. And it's cool to see, how many people are moving into some of these areas. I
Mhm.
mean, cool in some ways, not cool in others, but we're one of those areas in Southwest Florida. I know a lot of people are coming to the Texas area. But you've been involved in a few different groups. One, I think you're in the North Texas business
Aviation
yeah,
Association. Yep. All
aviation,
those
yeah.
acronyms, right?
It's tough to remember all of them. So tell me a little bit about your role there, and what you guys are doing for aviation in Texas.
Sure. I hopped on board as a committee member back in 2015, and I have been with it ever since. It is a wonderful foundation founded by Marge Rose with Market Lift Marketing. And it was really to grow the North Texas area and share safe practices within the community and within the industry. I started as a committee member, helping on the social side and more the communication side. And I quickly was voluntold to be the co-chair,
Okay.
which that's how committees go and
Yeah.
councils go. You just once you're in for life. But it's been amazing, and I really think that has helped not only my growth in my career personally, but get the
Yeah.
word out about Business Jet and share the wonderful things that we're doing as a company for our customers, our employees, and for the community. So it's been a lot of fun, and I know a couple years in a row we won the local regional group committee of the year, which is really neat. It's awarded at base, so we'll see if we get it again this year. Fingers
Cool.
crossed. Yeah.
Very
Um,
cool. And yeah, I know that you were also on the NBAA 40 under 40 list a few years ago, and you've been pretty involved in the. I think you've been involved in the YOPRO Association, correct?
Actually, I'm brand new to that.
Okay.
They asked me to be part of the group. Actually, our call was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
So the
Well, that's exciting.
it is, and I'm excited as I've had that experience at the local regional level.
Yep.
But I'm even more excited to kind of impact the community or the industry at a national level. I know a lot of my passion is kind of mentoring and showing these young kids and these young professionals that there's a lot more to this industry than being a pilot, being a flight attendant, being a maintenance tech. I knew nothing
Yep.
about it at all, and I think business aviation has really helped me find my niche, and it's been a lot of fun. I come to work every day loving what I do, and I want others to feel that same passion every single day.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's really cool. I know, with the number of the guests that I've had on the show, and I've been talking with, there's definitely a lot of attention being put on the workforce, and trying to attract new talent to this industry, and educating people outside of the industry that there's more to it than just flying the planes.
Hmm.
The support structure, all of the businesses and vendors that support this industry. It's a huge industry with a lot of opportunity. So it's cool to see you being part of that. And I know that, we had also talked a little bit about business jets involvement in the community, which I think plays into this a little bit as well. Talk to me about some of the charity work that you guys have done, which I think is really cool. It's kind of similar to some of the things that I've been involved in the past. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that and touch on some of these organizations that you're helping.
Sure. This might be my favorite piece to the puzzle that I get to be involved with every day. But yes, so about almost 10 years ago, so it was about 9 years ago, that my cohort and I, funny enough, the same gal that hired me 10 years ago, we decided instead of using some funds for a Christmas party for our employees and for our customers, that we really wanted to use that to give back to the community. And we decided a fun way to do that and to raise some funds was to start a charity golf tournament. Who doesn't love golf, being outside for, a couple great causes? Yeah. And so that's where it really started. From the beginning and from its birth, we have raised over $400,000, which is
very cool,
phenomenal. Yes. And not only that, but we have fostered such a relationship with these organizations and the people that we're helping. So two of the organizations that we work with currently are Folds of Honor and Patriot Paws Service Dogs. Folds of Honor is a company that raises funds and raises money for either kiddos or spouses of the fallen for them to continue education. Yeah. And Patriot Paws, they're actually here local out of Rockwall, Texas, but they raise money for service dogs at no cost for those sweet, sweet veterans. I've been to that warehouse multiple times, and the process itself is amazing. It's probably a 3-year process to get this puppy trained from start to finish. And not only is it trained just to be a service dog, it is tailored to the veteran in which it is placed with. Amazing stories. We even get progress reports from them. And it's just been amazing that we have, since we've been working with them, been able to raise or help raise, with the funds, 4 different puppies. And we're on the fast track to get a couple more this year, I'm hoping, with our golf tournament that we're hosting in November. Another really fun event that we do every year is called A Christmas to Remember. So this started a few years after our golf tournament started. But we work with local elementary schools within our district, and we adopt, 10 to 15 families per year. And we raise monetary donations, and we also have folks adopt these kiddos and give them really their needs and what they need as a family or individually. It can be anything from socks, underwear, shoes, jackets, to we've raised money to order bunk beds, washer dryers for these families that are a little less fortunate than we are and are impacted more during the holiday season. It's amazing to me how involved our employees are, because our employees are the ones coming to us saying, when can I adopt? Who can I have? Sure. Let me see the list. And it's amazing. Before COVID, we were able to deliver, kind of like Santa and all the elves, deliver these presents and these gifts to the families at their homes. Last year, we had to kind of do a drive-through, so they were able to come pick things up other than the larger items. But still, the impact that we're making on these sweet kids is forever changing in my eyes. That's at the end of my career. It's not about how much money I made. It's not about how many gallons we pumped. It's about, the service that we give to others. So it's been a lot of fun. If you can't tell, I love it.
I can definitely tell, that's always been one of the things that I've loved. We used to be involved in some very similar organizations over the years, like our local Humane Society here. We also worked with an organization called the Independence Fund, which we were able to donate all-terrain wheelchairs to injured veterans. Wow. And we also worked with a local kind of like a food bank, but I think it was called the Backpack Kids. And so we were able to donate backpacks filled with school supplies and snacks and all that type of stuff to some of the local kids here. So it's really cool to see, you know, how much companies in aviation are giving back to, you know, both their communities and the vets and the pets as well.
We
Which
love
is,
kids, pets,
yeah.
and vets.
Very cool. And so, you know, you mentioned next week is NBAA base, and you're heading to Vegas.
We will be there. We've got a
Cool.
squad of about 7 of us, so we'll
Okay.
be there.
Very nice. And are you exhibiting there?
We are. So we're Phillips
Okay.
66. So
Okay.
we'll be in their kiosk area, the West Hall, 2800. So if
Cool.
anybody wants to stop by, please do.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, talk to me a little bit about how you guys typically prep for NBAA, and you know what you know we talked to a lot of people about trade shows, especially lately with all of the, you know, the last 18 months have been pretty limited in the way of trade shows. How are you and the team looking at base this year, and maybe trade shows in general moving forward?
Sure. So NBAA for us as the FBO is not our biggest show. Schedulers and
Okay.
dispatchers is
Sure.
really our bread and butter.
Okay.
So we spend some more funds and focus a little bit more on that. But for NBAA, you know, it's making sure that we've got all of our swag together. And there's not a ton of prep work for NBAA other than, you know, hotels, flights, getting all that ready.
Sure.
But getting the message out to our potential customers or existing customers or any vendors that may want to stop by. I think we see probably more vendors at NBAA from the FBO standpoint.
Sure.
And that's where we really talk about innovation and how we can update things at our FBO to make, you know, operation run a little more smoothly, or
Sure.
any of those updates. But for S&D, that's where you have to start planning, you know, a year in advance.
Yeah.
And we love to have fun in our booth. And I mean, as you can tell, we have fun around here anyway, but, you know,
Sure.
have a theme and have some, you know, really awesome swag, any games at our booth. And then that's when we're really hammered down and get some schedulers or dispatchers in our booth so we can chat with them about their needs here at Love. If any aircraft have changed, upgraded, any of that.
Cool. All right, awesome. Well, so definitely, if you're visiting and heading to NBAA in Vegas, definitely stop by the booth and meet with Kat and her team. But Kat, I do appreciate you coming on. It's been good to connect and learn more about your story and what you guys are doing at Business Jet. So I appreciate it. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to let everybody know where they could find you personally or Business Jet as a company?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, if you are, especially if you're in the North Texas area and you want to
Yeah.
volunteer for some NTBAA, no, my LinkedIn, you can find me under Cat Wren, WREN. And for Business Jet as a whole, you can find us at businessjetcenter.com or businessjetaccess.com, pending, you know, what services you might need. We're out there on all the social sites. We even have a YouTube. If you have some downtime, we've put together a couple different raps. So if you want to see me rapping, go check us out.
I didn't know that. I'm definitely going to be checking that out shortly.
And we also have captured a lot of our Christmas to Remember and our golf tournament recaps
Cool.
on video on YouTube too. So if you guys are interested in that, please check us out, or I can provide you with my email and contact phone number if anybody's interested.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me, and hope you have a good time at NBAA. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for what you're doing for aviation and growth in general, bringing all these people together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm definitely enjoying it, and it's been great to connect with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.